Don Hei Pat Choi, Happy Lunar New Year 2021. It's the year of the ox. My name is Darren Ramdour. I'm a police officer with Vancouver Police Department. My origins are from the island of Mauritius, which is off the east coast of Africa, a tiny little island. I want to relate a story to you, a story of family and connection that may relate to this year. The story is a true story that happened to my father-in-law's grandfather. So I'll take you all the way back to the 1920s when my father-in-law's grandfather lived in a little village called Fatehpur in UP in the center of India. He lived there with his family and his eldest brother and his sister-in-law, a little home. One evening, as they were having dinner, the sister-in-law and him was having a little argument over house chores. And as they left the house after dinner and was doing cleaning up outside, and the sister-in-law was washing her dishes in the well outside the house, this young man got a little bit annoyed with her and picked up a cup. Cups were made of metal then, and he threw it towards her. This cup hit her on the head, and he got scared because it's the eldest brother's wife, and the elder brothers are generally the ruler of the house or runs the household. So he ran away from home, scared from what he had done. He ran, it was in the evening, he ran into the train station there and contemplated what to do. He fell asleep on the train and woke up some 1,500 kilometers later, where the train landed in the city of Calcutta. Calcutta is a port city, and in the 1920s was ferrying endangered workers from India to various parts of the British Empire to replace workers in these empires. So the last ships was sailing in the 1920s, and he somehow ended up on one of these ships. Obviously he was only 12 years old, and he was not allowed to be on the ship, and he wasn't a contract worker. The ship landed 6 weeks later in the island of Mauritius off the coast of Africa, and when they were doing the paperwork and they realized that this person should not have been on the ship, they put him with a family who had legally arrived on the island, and he eventually started living his life in Mauritius with his family, and then started working, became fairly successful. He had his own family, his own kids, and then 40 years later, his family told him he should go back and visit his little village. So now he's in his late 50s, and he takes a boat. Airplanes were a bit expensive. He takes a boat and goes back to India, goes back to the village where he was from, to the front of the house, and he knocks on the door, and the household open the door, and these young people, they're speaking the same dialect language, and he's telling them that, hey, this is my home, who lives here, where's so-and-so, the sister-in-law and his brothers, and they kind of thought he was deranged and crazy. So the sister-in-law fortunately was still alive, and they called her down, and she came down to the front door and obviously didn't recognize him 50 years later. And they thought that he had disappeared, didn't know what happened to him, never heard anything. So as she was asking him, she wasn't quite sure. She told him to remove his shoes, and they were looking at him strangely. Why would they ask him to remove his shoes? So he removed his shoes, and then she looked at his feet and said, "Oh yeah, that is definitely you." So what happens? This person had an extra toe on both of his feet, so he didn't have 5 toes; he had 6. And the sister-in-law knew this because she used to bathe him. So the family reconnected after such a long time, and they've been in contact ever since. So I thought I'd like to share that story. It shows us a story of strength and family and endurance, thank you very much. I just wanted to share that with you. On behalf of the Vancouver Police Department, Gong Hei Fak Choi, Happy New Year 2021, the year of the ox. Be strong.